Hey Fight fans, Happy New Year! I'm Sarah Davis and you're watching Fight News Now Extra. We are back to bring you all of the latest combat sports news, and up next, it's the women who are making headlines in MMA. Our MMA panel is also back, so stay tuned to hear what they have to say. Let's get started with Newsmakers. UFC Women's Bantamweight Champion Ronda Rousey and her next opponent Rousey-Carmouche are getting the primetime treatment ahead of their title bout at UFC 157. It will be a three-part series, and in the past we've seen other major fights featured like this, most recently St. Pierre versus Condit. In the main event at Invicta 4 in Kansas City this past weekend, Carla Esparza won over the judges with her takedowns of Australian Beck Hyatt. The unanimous decision earned Esparza the vacant strawweight title. And on Saturday night, Invicta announced that their 5th installment has been booked for April. The card will feature the debut of former Strikeforce champion Sarah Kaufman, along with 2 title fights, including the inaugural Flyweight Championship and an Atomweight title fight. There is the latest news from the weekend. Let's hear from our MMA panel for the first time this year. John Pollock, John Ramdian, and Robin Black. Guys, women in the headlines today. Do you think we're going to see a lot more of that in 2013?
Well, I think for every MMA organization out there that is running pay-per-views, their New Year's resolution should be to get a competent stream, because this drives me crazy to no end. Whether it is pro wrestling, MMA, pay-per-views, tons of problems that come with it.
Yeah, obviously Invicta is not very happy with what transpired over the weekend, especially you consider the fact that there's so much momentum behind Invicta. People want to see this product. They're willing to pay for it. And when US Stream goes down, people pay for it and they don't get to see it. It just hurts the product altogether.
Yeah, and web pay-per-views kind of have this Mickey Mouse feeling to begin with, you know? They just never seem to quite work, and this is not an uncommon thing.
Unfortunate, too, because it was a very, very solid show from top to bottom. Sarah mentioned there that Ronda Rousey and Rousey-Carmouche, they will be getting the primetime treatment. I don't really know what this means when it's only on Fuel TV at midnight, no less. But nonetheless, this is going to be a huge focus of the UFC for the next month leading up to UFC 157.
Yeah, of course, it's a huge step for the UFC. You have to profile your new divisions, and of course the women's bantamweight division is one of those divisions. But my biggest concern is what's going to happen the night of the actual fight. We know that Anaheim hasn't been the greatest spot for pay-per-view draws, and when you have Ronda Rousey headlining this show, it's almost like it's destined to fail because of the history. And what happens if it does? Is she going to be to blame?
Well, if it does, first of all, when you give someone the primetime treatment, you put them in a main event, there's no doubt who's to blame. I mean, if it fails because they put all their rocks in the Ronda Rousey basket. And, you know, it's a very different thing with her. In one sense, we're looking at she's great TV. She's interesting TV. The primetime's probably going to be cool. She's going to look good. It's going to be exciting. But does that translate into people wanting to see this chick fight?
I think this one is such an X factor, though, because when you look at it, Ronda Rousey here and her value is that she is going to be in those last 10 days getting on media outlets that typically don't pay any attention to MMA, and that's going to be the real litmus test here of Ronda Rousey. Can she attract people that probably don't buy pay-per-views on a large scale?
That's my big question. Like, Dana White can get all aroused all he wants about the fact that, you know, wow, she's on TMZ. Will anyone on TMZ who's interested to know if this really attractive blonde girl has sex the week of the fight want to pay to see her get punched in the face? That we really don't know yet.
Yeah, that's a question that I definitely have, is if
she has sex 10 days
No,
before
I'm not
fight.
concerned.
This is our
that's not what I'm
analyst.
concerned about. I'm concerned about she's in media outlets on Monday and Tuesday, but is that going to drive people to watch the pay-per-view on Saturday? And I don't know if the answer is yes to that.
Nobody knows.
It's been quite a few weeks since we did one of these, folks. Lots of stuff happening over the break, including a UFC 155, Cain Velasquez retaining the UFC heavyweight title, defeating Junior Dos Santos.
Regaining
the UFC heavyweight title. Did this make an argument for you guys in terms of fighter of the year? Because for me, you look at Cain Velasquez between the Antonio Silva fight and the JDS fight, you're looking at basically 3 consecutive 10-8 rounds. Had that Silva fight gone to the end of that first, I'm looking at Velasquez right now as fighter of the year.
Yeah, that's a great point considering the fact that he lost the title. He lost the most prestigious championship in mixed martial arts. So for him to come back from adversity, take out Bigfoot, and just put an ass-kicking on Junior Dos Santos for 5 rounds, yes, a great argument for Fighter of the Year. But Ben Henderson is still the man.
Yeah, I mean, fighter of the year, it's tough. It's a tough call. It's a really good point. You know, it's right at the end of the year, and the guy puts in 25 crazy minutes like that. You know, that really was a fantastic performance. But I think that's the thing we want to look at is what kind of performance this was against a guy who really, I don't think he'd ever lost a round. He's certainly never been hurt, and he just beat the crap out of this guy for 25 minutes. And when you look at the two fights, one guy gets knocked out in a couple minutes, the other guy takes a beating for 25. They're kind of equal. They've each won one in an exciting way, but that 25-minute beating, that will change your career.
I still look at that heavyweight landscape in 2013. Yes, they're going to import Daniel Cormier. Obviously, Alistair Overeem, should he get by Silva, is likely that guy next in line. But Junior Dos Santos, that top end of the division, is still such that I think JDS, one fight and looks impressive, could be fighting Cain Velasquez a year from now.
Oh, I agree, and I think it makes sense. And a year from now, I don't even think it needs to take a year. I think that this guy, if you ask most people, Junior Dos Santos is now the #2 guy in the division. He won the first fight. Cain won the second fight. I know people are dying to see the third fight because Junior Dos Santos will definitely have a different game plan going into this rubber match.
Yeah, he'll need one, though, because Cain Velasquez is undeniably the more complete fighter. At least you can say from the 27 minutes that they've spent together that he is. And Junior Dos Santos is fantastic at one thing, but he's got to get better at the other things as well.
Lots more stuff later this week to chat about, including the countdown to the death of Strikeforce.
That sounds so bad.
It is bad.
Thanks, guys. Okay, and make sure you are kicking off 2013 by staying on top of all the latest fight news. When you're not watching us here, make sure you follow us on Twitter. Our handle is @FightNet. And check out our website. It's fightnetwork.com. That's where we have the most recent headlines and videos. All right, coming up next, we preview the final card or the death for Strikeforce.